Hi, everyone. How's everything going? My name is Jason Lewis. I'm the offensive coordinator at Heidelberg University. Want to just kind of spread some knowledge, of our offense and kind of, what we have going on here at Heidelberg. Kind of a little bit of the history of our offense and how we've progressed with our tempo. And just really talk about the tempo of our offense and how that's made us successful. If anyone has any questions, please contact me. You can shoot me a DM. My Twitter handle is at Coach Jason Lewis. My email is jlewis3@heidelberg.edu. So if you have any questions, feel free. Just a quick background about myself. I'm originally from Sylvania, Ohio, which is the Toledo area. Played high school football there, moved on to Mount Union College, had a great career there, coached there for 2 seasons, and then I've been at Heidelberg ever since. I'm going on my 12th season at Heidelberg. I started off as a GA, worked my way up to the offensive line coach, and am now the offensive coordinator. Been the offensive coordinator for the last 5 seasons. So that's a little background on me. Let's jump right on into this presentation. So, this is just a little background on our offense and what we have, we've had going on. When I first got to Heidelberg, we were, a true pro eye offense, and we started to separate ourselves from that in the 2009 and 2010 seasons. We got into what we called hot plays, which is really what ended up being our tempo plays right now. That was kind of the extent of our up-tempo offense. And then really in 2011, worked truly into a full multiple tempo offense. We had, I think, when we first initiated it, had probably like 7 different tempos. And they were everything from, fast or normal tempo into look offense, and then a couple other ways to do look offense. So that we had a bunch of different things, and that really got cut down into 3 or 4 tempos that we really liked and we really used. And I'll talk about that here in a little later. 2012, we were a national playoff team. 2013 and 14, we were pretty elite offensively, averaged over 500 yards of offense, for those seasons. And then, in 2016, I took over as coordinator, took over a pretty solid offense, honestly. We had some really good players coming back. 2015 was kind of a rebuilding year for us. And then, kind of fast forward to 2019, we were 8th in the nation in total offense. We averaged around 400 and I think 80 or 90 yards a game. So we did some really good things there. So that's just a little bit about the history of our tempo, and we want to continue to play fast. Here's just our yardage totals and kind of, overall offensive stat line for the last, 4 seasons since I've been the offensive coordinator here. For us, 2018 was kind of a down year. Other than that, we've been pretty consistent offensively. 2017 had a really good group of guys. Everyone was, 2-3 year starters for us. Our quarterback was really, really good. We could throw the ball all over the place, and you can kind of see that where that kind of our run and pass stats kind of take us. Our goal is to be a balanced offense, as balanced as we can be. And I think this past year was, the most balanced of an offense we've been since I've been offensive coordinator. So we want to continue that. And that's our ideal way to attack offensively. So just getting into our philosophy, I'm going to kind of go in depth on each of these points. This has been a huge part of our offense and what we want to get done. first is, attacking with multiple tempos, players, formations, plays. That's kind of our, our thinking behind everything. We want to stretch the field vertically and horizontally. There's multiple ways to do that. We'll get into that here in a second. Make the defense count for all 11 players. RPOs do that, very easily. Being very efficient in all areas, using tendencies to our advantage, being innovative and aggressive. Maybe some trick play stuff, but not too crazy about that. And then attitude and effort. That's kind of our overall kind of almost a team philosophy. We want to bring our hard hat, bring great attitude, and have great effort every single day in everything we do. All right, so getting into our tempos, as far as what we want to get done is really straightforward. First is our green tempo. That's what it says in our playbook. That's just our base tempo. That's what we're in all the time until we do something different. Okay, that tempo for us is fast. It can be as slow or as fast as I want it to be. If I don't call play, then it automatically slows us down. But typically, our eyes are right to the sideline, and we're going really fast. Our guys know if we're in like a 4-minute situation or something like that we're going to take our time. We might even get into some huddle stuff at that point. Moving on to yellow. Yellow tempo is our look tempo. We're going to get up on the ball like we're in a tempo play in our tempo series. We'll get into that here in a second. Have a code word, get up, clap. Hopefully a D lineman jumps. If he jumps, great. We're going to hopefully snap the ball, take our free shot down the sideline, or maybe even up a seam. If not, we look over and we call a play, based on the defensive structure. The other thing that this gets into, it becomes our true look offense. Usually this is we can use it two different ways. This is typically we're going to play fast most of the time, and then this is just to try to, get a free play, in a big situation, 3rd down, 4th down. We've even done it off of after a big play to try to get another free shot off of it. So whatever it may be, it's typically, to try to get a free play out of. Now, if we go into game plan that we're going to use look a ton, then obviously teams are going to catch on, and we use that more as a true look offense to look at a defense and call a play based on their structure. Vegas tempo is kind of a fake look deal, something that we've bounced in and out of our offense over the years. But basically, we're going to signal a play, Vegas tempo in plus a play. We're going to act like we're going look. Quarterback takes a quick peek over. If you get a bunch of D linemen going down on their knee and stuff like that, then we're just going to pop right back, snap the ball, and try to catch those guys off guard a little bit. So that's kind of something that we've done a little bit in and out. It's a pretty solid deal if you're going to use a ton of look tempo. Red is our huddle tempo. We're going to get up, huddle 4 yards off the ball. O-line's back is to the ball, standard huddle deal. We don't do it a ton, so that's kind of that. Our fly tempo is a sugar huddle. We're 2 to 3 yards off the ball. Just the O-line and the running back, really maybe a tight end if he's tight, but all the skill guys are going to get the signal. They're going to get lined up in their positions, and we're just going to turn around and tell the O-line to play real quick and then pop up and let's go. That's a fast tempo deal. But it allows us to, get into if we, certain things that we want to do, it allows us to do. And then last is our tempo series. Our tempo series is really, been really good for us. We have, anywhere from 4 to 10 plays, and it's one word concepts. We get up, we're going to go as fast as humanly possible. We change the name of those pretty much every year. We've had rappers, we've done the NBA, we've done whatever, but whatever you want those plays to be, I know guys that's our whole offense, but we want to be able to call our offense plus have these tempo plays, a combination of it. So that's a huge part of our offense, and we'll get into that here at the end of the presentation a little more. So players formations plays, is a really big part of the way I've learned to call an offense and to even develop an offense, whatever you want to call it. But you can't afford, especially at our level. I don't even know at the Division I level. Yeah, you can recruit specific players that fit specifically to your offense. But where we're at is we want to recruit the best players we possibly can, and we're going to find a way for those guys to fit into our offense. So, however that may be, we're going to do an analysis on our players. I think it starts with your quarterback. That guy determines a lot the way your structure of your offense looks, and it goes down the line to your wide receiver, tight ends, and your running back, and then the offensive line. So, we want to do a great job of really analyzing what we have, offensively, what guys, are going to be true playmakers for us. The best example I can give you is, we went from 2017 having a 3-time all-conference quarterback to 2018 having, a first-year senior starter that, was a great competitor, worked his butt off to earn the job, but just didn't have the arm that the guy, prior to him had. So we adjusted our whole offense around him, added a lot of quarterback run, which we hadn't done in the past, and, ended up being an all-conference quarterback. He was a solid player, but just wasn't, what we were used to. And, that's something that you always have to be able to do. And then from there, getting guys touches, wide receivers, tight ends. For us, 11 personnel is our base set, but, we're always looking for guys that can do multiple things. Do we have a running back that we can split out? Do we have a tight end that we can split out? Do we have a tight end we can put in the backfield? Do we have a wide receiver that we can move down to tight end? We're always looking for those guys that, that can do multiple things. And that's been a huge part of us being very diverse formationally over the last, 4 or 5 years here at Heidelberg, is to always looking for guys. In 2018, the best thing we could do is we could be 11 personnel and get into every 10 personnel and every 12 personnel set that we have out of 11 personnel. So basically you go from empty to 2 tights the next play, that causes the defensive coordinator some issues and what personnel they're going to stay in, especially when you're playing fast. So those are the things that we want to do to defenses, and I think we've done a really good job of it. Like last year, didn't really have the guy to bring down to as a receiver to tight end, but we were still pretty diverse formationally out of 11 personnel. So that's a huge part. Then we want to get our athletes touches. The easiest touches, obviously, either you're running your quarterback or giving it to your running back. But easy throws like bubbles and now screens and things like that to your receivers to get guys touches involved in the game, especially early. I think we even need to do a better job of that. Is you could have a scripted first drive, but if you're not getting your best players the football, then they don't feel like they're a part of your game plan. So I think we've gotten ourselves into that situation, not on purpose, but I think you have to get guys touches and allow them to make plays early in the game. So next, stretching the field vertically and horizontally. Vertically, I feel like our number one shot play is always your running back. I've believed that for a long time, and I continue to believe that. We have we've had some really good running backs here at Heidelberg over the years. I feel like we've got a stable of backs right now. But I feel like those guys are always a vertical threat for you. And then, for us, wide receivers and taking matchups, how can we, dictate where a certain guy's gonna line up, or we can motion to get a matchup and maybe, you're 2 by into the boundary and you motion the outside receiver across to get, a one-on-one matchup with a safety, against your best receiver, whatever it may be. If we can get that done, we're going to do a ton of that to just create matchups and get guys one-on-one and take shots. That's a huge part of our vertical stretch of our offense. And horizontally, love to use the quarterback to stretch the defense horizontally. A little bit of quarterback stretch. Sprint out has been a big part of our offense. But that's been pretty good for us. And then our outside run game, pin and pull sweep. We've averaged almost 10 yards to carry on that play for the last 10 years. It's been really good for us. Stretch is solid for us. But being able to stretch that defense and then throw an RPO into that mix, and it makes, they have to defend the whole width of the field. So that's pretty good. So that kind of leads right into making the defense account for all 11. RPOs are a beautiful thing. How many ways can we conflict players all over the field? We can conflict, pretty much every position. A D lineman, a defensive end, a defensive tackle, inside linebacker, outside backer, a safety, and even a corner. We're reading corners if we're getting some trap coverage into the boundary. We've read the corner before, so that's been a huge part of our offense, and we're going to continue to do that. And then another way is screens. Going action and throwing a screen to the backside and some things like that. We've got a pretty good double screen play we like. So all that stuff's been really good as far as us making a defense account for all 11 dudes on the field. Can't take a play off. So we want to be ultra efficient in everything we do. Okay, as far as the reasoning of this was, we did some studies, when we took over as coordinator, and we just what we were practicing was not, directly correlating what we were doing in a football game. We were very, one-dimensional as far as personnel and things like that, which is okay. But at the end of the day, we weren't practicing that stuff, I don't think, enough. I feel like that you always have to be prepared to be in different situations in a game. But at the end of the day, I really feel like that what you're doing in practice needs to directly reflect, what you plan to do in the game. And, that can change, but at the end of the day, we really want everything to coincide with what we're doing. So it starts with our game plan. What are we going to do this week? What do we need to get reps of? What's new? We need to rep our tempo plays. We throw those into our practice scripts in every period that we have. So that's a huge part of what we do. So it starts with our game plan, and then it gets into practice. What specifically we want to do, what drills do we need to do, what were we good at last week, things like that. And then that gets into our film sessions, preaching to our guys, showing them the things that we saw in film while we're game planning, why we're doing this week, so they can have faith in our game plan. And then on game day, we just want to be very efficient and make sure that we're not missing things, and that all of us coaches, which we should be because we're all game planning together, are on the same page and communicating everything we need to communicate based on the defensive structure and things like that. Next, using our tendencies to our advantage, being a tempo offense, if we motion, it's typically for a reason. If we develop a tendency based off of that, then, next week we need to get that motion, in our offense and do a couple other things off of it. That's or that's, have a package of a specific motion so it's on our game card and we can do it while we're still playing fast. And then formationally as well, if we get into one formation and we run 3 plays out of it or 2 plays out of it, we got to develop some things by motion or something else to get into that set. So I think we've done a pretty good job of it. But just self-scouting and things like that to making sure that your tendencies aren't, totally don't totally exploit you. All right, next, I talked about being innovative and aggressive. Mentioned that trick plays aren't a huge thing, but I like to have 1 or 2. I let our guys, our players, to have a hand in those. I'm a big fan of that. I think there's a right time and right place for them. We threw a hook and ladder to our left tackle in 2017. He did a front flip in the end zone, and we ended up going to New York City to win a Heisman Trophy. Who would have thought that would ever happen? But at the end of the day, I was pretty lucky. But I think there's a time and a place, and I think it's always good to have a couple of things on hand, especially based on what a defense does and if they don't stay home and stuff like that. Next is being aggressive. Chunks. A chunk's 18 yards. Increases your scoring probability by 30% if you get an 18-yard gain on a drive. We have a whole section in our game plan that are specific chunk plays, and that's a huge part of what we do. I think that's a big part of our game plan, and our best chunk play was just taking a one-on-one matchup. We have whatever play we called, and our quarterback gives a single receiver the hootie hoo, and let's go. Let's get up. Let's go. Let's take that matchup shot. And we have a quarterback that's spot on with throwing fade balls, go balls, whatever you want to call them. I'm all for giving that guy that responsibility. It's a really easy way to be really aggressive. So that's kind of that deal. And then lastly, attitude and effort's just our kind of overall mantra of what we want to get done. When you're playing football, there's no reason to have a bad attitude. And if you're not giving effort, then you might as well go home. So at the end of the day, that's kind of, we talk to our guys about that on the daily, and they do a great job of really, sticking to that. All right, so we're going to get into practicing fast here. For us, this is a huge part of why I think we are so good at playing fast. Is a lot of the things we do in practice are fast. I'm gonna definitely get film on this. Our team takeoff, I think we filmed it like last spring. I don't have the film of it, but team takeoff for us is just really simple deal. A lot of times it's a 5-minute period. If we need a walkthrough, it'll be a 10-minute period. We'll walk through for 5 and then just go play fast for 5 on air. Pretty much start every practice with it. It's not totally realistic. It's just about playing as fast as humanly possible. The ball, we run a play or spot that ball as fast as humanly possible. Sometimes I'll specifically script based on maybe new plays, have a specific script that we're going to run with those guys. Other times we'll just take a section of a team session and run that script. It's 3 to 5 plays as fast as humanly possible. When we get down, if we're throwing a play down the field, I'll yell score, and those guys will go score, and we'll get on. We have a coach in the end zone, breaks them down. Do they do an up, down, and we're going to sprint off to our sideline. That's something. Actually, I think we got it from Auburn. We were watching something Auburn did, and we kind of made it our own, and we really like that. It's a great way to start practice as well. Then, some days we'll go back to back to screen drill. Other days we'll just do screen drill instead of team takeoff. But screen drill is just a fast, ultra fast pace. We split, have the whole offensive line, and then typically just one side of the offensive formation, and we're going to rep that specific screen, whatever we're working on that day, whether it's a slip screen, whether we're running our running back screen, double screen, we'll use the whole group, whatever it may be, but we want to rep that thing. We'll use our coaches to simulate the defense. We'll have agiles that our offensive linemen will cut, and then the next group's up, and we're right into the next running the same play, just working on timing, getting the ball caught and up in the shooter or wherever we're running the football or on the screen. So that stuff's been pretty good for us. So continue on with the whole practicing fast thing. We have in our group sessions, we're going to signal all of our plays into our offensive line. And we want to get as many possible reps as we can. We want to rep through. We want to allow the defense to get set. But if we're playing fast and they're playing fast, then we're all used to it. So it's kind of what we do, and that way we get more plays in. And then you might get it later in the week. Maybe on Tuesday you go super fast, and on Wednesday we want to slow it down a little bit. And that's fine. But I think we've done a good job of just allowing our guys to practice fast, and it naturally conditions them as well. And then getting into team sessions, one of our 2 team sessions a day, typically we want to be fast paced, and we'll script 5-play series, and basically we get half the field. So we get, we have a turf field, we get half the field. We get pretty much from the 40 in. We'll start the ball on the 40 going in. We'll rep, wherever the play ends up, with the scout team's defense. We'll try to put it into our terms. If we don't have, if we're playing a team that our defense can't replicate, then we'll draw a card, and they'll typically stay in that card for those 5 plays. And we'll have a coach trying to, adjust looks or maybe changing the coverage or whatever it may be. But, that's something that, it's more focused on playing fast than it is a specific look. And then from there, we'll flip the field. So if we get down to the end zone, we'll flip it around, put the ball on the 5-yard line, and come back out until that 5-play set's done. So it allows us to play super fast. We'll just yell flip, flip, flip. Our guys know they're going to flip the deal. It might take another half a second to get set, but our guys were really good with it, and they like to replicate. That allows us to go against the scout team and replicate playing fast. And if we're not moving the ball, if we're going to stay one place, we'll still go, 5-play set, go as fast as we can and signal everything. It's just, we want to limit subbing guys at receiver. You're going to probably have to get into that a little bit, but we want, to try to stick with the same group, primarily for those 5-play sets. And then the other thing is, we get in those 5-play sets. If we want to go really fast, we won't change personnel groups at all, and that's maybe if we do, we'll go 3 plays and then 2 plays at the next personnel group. But typically it's all out of 1 personnel group. And then, the biggest thing is good on good. I can't stress it enough how much good on goods, helped us. Again, it might not be the look you're seeing that week, but you're playing against your best players on defense, and that's been a huge help for us. All right. And then this is getting into playing fast with a full playbook. All of our stuff is designed for the most part to be very easy for our guys to see and play fast. So signals for our formations and plays, for our base offense are very simple. Guys can see them and we can play fast. RPOs are already built into our run plays. We can always tag an RPO. I mean, basically, our whole three-step game is an RPO for us. Some things that change are who we're reading sometimes off an RPO, or maybe it just turns into a pre-snap RPO based on the concept. Our quarterbacks are pretty good at deterring that, but it's all been really good for us, and it allows us to play really fast. And then pass game, all of our pass game are concepts, and then what slows us down a little bit is route tags, because we're gonna signal that tag multiple times to make sure we don't miss it. It's absolute worst when your quarterback's sitting waiting on the route tag and the guy runs the normal route, causes some problems, obviously. So we want to make sure, and the same thing goes with motion. If we're going to get motion, our formation signaler is going to get the formation in, and our first signal from our play guy is the motion. And we want to go through that a couple times to make sure that we don't miss the motion. And then from there, we'll have some formation tags, stacks, stack guys, bunch guys, whatever it may be. Those are really simple and allow us to continue to play fast. It's been really good for us. Created some problems, I think, exploited some defenses that aren't set up very well to really defend a specific play based on the way they cover, like a bunch set or whatever it may be. So now we're going to get into just adding tempo plays to our offense, or to an offense. What plays, how many do you need to have, and when and where do you call them? So, for us, we want to find efficient, easy plays as our tempo plays. Simple concepts that allow our guys to have multiple options, like an RPO. So a typical, easy tempo play is just to run inside zone. You have a bubble, read the defensive end. You have a pre-snap bubble you can throw, and then, to a 3-by side, and then the single's got a gift route, a hitch or a fade. That's just really simple offense. Your guys can, it's really easy to execute, and the reads are really easy for your quarterback to make. The other deal you get into is, if you want to have multiple tags, motions, or shift, that's another good reason to have a tempo play, is that because it's one word, your guys memorize whatever you need to get done on that play. So that's the other side of it. That might not be as fast as your other tempo plays, but it alleviates you trying to call a play with motion and multiple route tags to just having that as a one-word play for you. It could be a take a shot play, and it could be a trick play. Those are all things. The one year we did, I think we did NBA players as our trick plays. I know our friends down at Wilmington did WWE superstars. So whatever it may be, that's a huge part of your offense, and it gives your guys ownership. It allows them to maybe come up with a name for a trick play or even a tempo play. All right, so how many? The more you have, the more reps you need for them. We're gonna get a few tempo play shots in every team session. We want each group to have as many reps of those we can get throughout the week, and in team takeoffs, some days we just do our tempo plays. That's an easy way to get reps of those things handled. The other thing is, like, our first year we had our Bone Thugs deal, our Bone Thugs package, and it was all off a jet motion. So we had jet sweep, hand the ball off, jet sweep, run zone the other way, and we booted off of it. So, that was a tempo package. We didn't really have a ton of jet sweep stuff in our offense, and that allowed us to get there. We were pretty efficient with that. That was 4 years ago. So, um, you know, that stuff's been really good for us. Um, it could be a set of plays that you know are the plays efficient? Do you want to have go back through your offense last year? What were your most efficient plays? That's a great way to start with a tempo play. Um, so that's a huge part of what we do. Um, you know, and when you're thinking about like how many you want, like can your guys handle them? Can your guys handle 10 tempo plays on top of the rest of your offense? We felt in years past that our guys can't, and I think when you get a group of guys um, that are very a veteran group of guys, yeah, they probably can handle more because they've been through so many installs. To where you get a young group of guys, we want to keep that pretty limited and very simple to allow those guys to continue to play fast. All right, so another question is when and where. For me, a lot of it's feel. Being able to call a game at a fast pace. I think a lot of it is feel, and you got to kind of understand what your guys are good at, and how they're going to respond to when you call tempo play. I think it's something you got to feel out, and you got to feel comfortable with. You can develop tendencies in calling your tempo plays. Like for us, a lot of it is after a big play, we'll go tempo play. Maybe after our first down, maybe we'll always go a tempo play, whatever it may be. The other thing is like you got to understand, the grand scheme of things. Like, if your tempo is first down and you're going to kind of take a shot with a tempo play, you got to be ready on second down. It kind of gives you time to think about a second and 10 play, basically. Have that in the back of your hand. Now, let's say you complete that big, maybe a big chunk on your tempo play, then just you're good to go. You have that second and 10 play in your back pocket, or maybe you want to stick with it. Maybe you go with it. So it's a huge part of just having a feel and what you think your players can handle. It's a huge part of our game plan as well. We talk about have a whole session of our game plan about where our tempo plays can fit in this week. Maybe there's some we don't like against that specific defense, or maybe we're going to change one of them to something else, or have a tag on it, whatever it may be. But the other thing is, your quarterback always needs to understand there's specific looks that we don't want to run tempo plays against. Like one of our plays, if we get 3 over 3, yeah, we can run the quarterback. That's kind of the get out of it. But if he feels comfortable with something else, then let's get into something else. And giving that guy, the trust and reliability to do that. So playing fast, you're not always going to be perfect. I've had coaches I've coached with that, hey, like maybe, on third down, we call a play that's a man beater, and we're sitting in the box, we don't get man. Well, either we need to get out of it, or, there's things built in, that typically allow us to get in a better situation. And our quarterback is the guy that does that for us. And then down and distance wise, we talked a little bit about that, but first downs, third and fourth and manageable are great time for tempo play, especially like on second and, let's say it's second and 7, and you get 2 yards. So you're looking at third and 5. A 2-yard gain isn't a big play, but if you're ready with a tempo play, defense isn't typically going to be expecting that. I think that's something that we've done a good job of. Even a fourth down play, you get fourth and short, getting yourself into a tempo play and trying to get that thing running and downhill. At the same time, those things can kind of hurt you if a defense isn't set and your guys up front are confused on we're blocking power and we're confused. We miss a block and you got a guy 3 yards in the backfield, tackling for a TFL. So they're kind of things go hand in hand. But at the end of the day, again, I think your quarterback, if he sees that, he can slow you down. He doesn't need to snap the ball. So that stuff's been really good for us. All right. And then, lastly, it's field zone. When you cross midfield, take a shot. If you're backed up, let's say, run a play and kind of get out off the goal line if you're backed up, and then get right into a tempo play to get yourself a first down maybe, and then down on the goal line, especially if you get a big play down to the goal line, getting up, running a play. Don't let teams sub or go fast at all. So here's some of our tempo plays. I'm just going to go through a couple of these. This one's been really good for us. Just kind of a stick concept. We're gonna run stick with number 3 here. Obviously, we're gonna bubble this guy, and then we're gonna block out here. Our read is the will linebacker. We're blocking basically inside zone up front, and we're gonna stick the backside defense or backside tackle. Running back is going to come kind of downhill like he's getting the ball, but we want him to get the heck out of the way. So if we do go catch and throw to the stick here, we don't have to worry about anything. But, he's just trying to kind of freeze this guy so we can throw the stick. If he's not getting the ball, so he's going to block the read if we end up pulling the ball down and running with our quarterback. So the quarterback's read is really simple. If we're uncovered here, we're going to throw this 100 out of 100 times. It's been, really efficient offense for us. Now, what you get into is this guy starts, trying to cut this thing off. Great. We start, seeing this guy cut this thing off, little pump, and then throw the bubble, get outside, and they got nobody else outside. So that's something that, our defense does a little bit, but we've done a really good job of kind of reading that. But most of the time, this guy, the star out here has got to defend the bubble. If not, you're going to be in deep crap. And, the other thing you get is this guy plays low, and then this guy would have to move out of the box because he's got over top. So that just opens up your running lane for your quarterback. But this has been really good for us. Again, we're blocking zone up front. We, other teams do this as a draw. We're going to run block this thing, and it's been really, really, really good. So here's the first play, 11 stick. We're taking, this guy's going to be completely uncovered running at his hitch. We're going to get this guy he's even popping his feet. And this guy, for this guy to make a play on this ball, he's got to jump this thing right away. There's now another shot of it here. Taking this stick, got this giant, for us, this is huge. We get all these cats in a box, basically, and we got this huge window to throw this stick route. Let's take it, go with it. So here we get 3 over 3. Now, either, it's clearly man. he can get us out of it. He can almost take his one-on-one matchup down here. Or, the true deal of the play is to keep it here and run. She makes a good play out of nothing. Running back needs to get the heck going, and he can be way more patient here. And if we follow this guy, we probably got a better shot. He makes a pretty good play out of this deal, though. Watch one more here. A little more patient here on the run. Lets everyone clear. We get a 6-yard gain in the first down here. So that's one of our tempo plays. I think we'll go through one more here and we'll wrap things up. So, and then, another one is really simple, obviously, 2x2 verticals. Our outside guys can drop out at 12. If we get soft coverage, if our rule is if we're even, we're leaving. If we're even with them at 12, we're running by them. Our slot guys are 2 yards outside the hash. They both have the opportunity to bend against 2 high. Against 1 high, we're going to stay, keep that thing wide, and let the ball bring us back to the middle a little bit. But, we're obviously really simple read for our quarterback. We run this thing so much that it's a huge part of our offense. So here we get 2 high. And again, these guys both have the ability to bend this thing back across the safety's face. Our guy, slot up top does a great job here of getting on this guy's toes and then bending this thing inside. It's fantastic. Ball's thrown just a hair late in my mind. We want to trust this guy that this ball should be on this guy right as we're running by him. We put this ball in the air that much. It gives that other safety to come over and whack us maybe a little bit. So here, playing team and play cover 3, just taking dropouts. We're a little short on our dropout, which I'm 100% okay with, just based upon where we're at on the field and how soft that guy's playing. It almost becomes like smash. It's kind of a longer hitch, but we basically end up hitch protecting, the flat guy, and this thing's really easy to throw. But ideally, we want to throw this thing, hash to hash. So we should be throwing this thing right off this guy. As soon as this guy runs underneath the outside route, we should be throwing this thing right off his headgear, and we should be scoring a touchdown. Here we go again. Getting soft corner. Just taking that drop out again. A little shallow. From where we want it to be. But, again, those guys know all day that we're taking that in this game. We ran 2x2 verticals probably 20 times in this game. So that stuff's been really good for us. That's pretty much all I got for you guys. So I appreciate you guys listening. Again, if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me at Coach Jason Lewis on Twitter. And then my email is jlewis3@heidelberg.edu. Thanks.